What's happening, Steeler Nation? What is happening? Let me make sure the mic volume is not too long. Sometimes it jumps up and down on me. Nope, I think we're just about right. Everything looks right. I'm in the screen right. Look a little bright right there. But let me adjust my light just a little bit. There we go. I think that's a little bit better. But how's everybody doing, man? What's going on? Hold on. Give me a second, guys. Give me 2 seconds. Let me get my phone situated here. It's just me and my little man tonight. Wifey is out of town. Give me 2 seconds, guys. There we go. Had to adjust some other light there. But what's happening, folks? Hope everybody's well, man. Thank you for tuning in and welcome to the latest episode of Terrible Towel Tuesday. I am your host, SimFBallCritic, live from the Still Basement, aka the virtual Heinz Field. What is got choked up there. What's happening, folks? What is going on? Like I said, hope everyone is well. And what I'm gonna do early and often, early. Let me cut it on. Got to cut the timer on early, guys. Again, let me just let you guys know this. I'm here with just me and my son. My wife is actually still in Florida. She'll be out of town for a little while, to help take care of her father. Her father's going to have surgery next week. Unfortunately, he has to get a knee replacement. Ouch, right? But he's tough. He's strong. He'll be all right. So she decided to go and hang out with her father, man, for a week. But since we were already there this past weekend, made no sense to come back and then fly back out Saturday. So she decided to just stay. So she'll be gone for a little under 2 weeks. But with that said, it's just me and my son. So I'm not going to take a lot of time, guys. Obviously, I hope you guys understand that. I got to be in and out tonight because I'm not going to leave him by himself like that. I hope you guys understand that. I'm not going to do that to my 8-year-old son. So the timer is on. I'm going to stay within that time. So that means I have to hurry up and get it going, right? So anyway, shout outs to father-in-law. Happy birthday to you as well. If he happens to see this, I know my brother-in-law Jordan watches this show from time to time, man, because, he just wants to support his brother. So again, if you all are watching, happy birthday to my father-in-law Tony. So I hope you guys, and not the Tony that that's my brother-in-law. My father-in-law, my wife's father's name is Tony as well. So happy birthday. And if you guys can also put that in the chat, and like I said, in case Jordan is watching, what have you, happy birthday to father-in-law. But anyway, guys, let's say hello to the early commenters like we always do. Let me scroll back up, and my software is acting nutty, so let me actually get to it by going to the actual stream here on my telephono, and we'll do it that way. All right, some of the early commenters. They were Dwayne Duncantel. Thank you for being an extended member of the family. Appreciate that. Brother Mark 1992, Jared Devil, in the green. David Muse. Hello, Miss Lanisha. How you doing this evening? Lanisha, thank you for tuning in. We always appreciate the lovely ladies of the chat. Who else we got here? Rajan 39. We got Steeler Lee. My good brother Wide Diggy. Again, another extended family member. Appreciate that, my brother. Ron Simpson Gaming. How you doing tonight, sir? Father-in-law, Leonard Langley. I know that confuses you guys, right? When I say father-in-law twice, but y'all should be able to figure it out, right? Figure it out. Let's see. Ralphax, Vista Light, Brent Fox, another extended family member. Appreciate you. What's up, Bills? My man Bills, fourth in the building, man. That's one of my guys right there, man, that, kind of knows me primarily through gaming. But what's up, Bills, man? Appreciate you coming and check me out, man. Let's see. We got Drip in the building. Who else? Let's read a couple more and let's get right to it. Brian Williams, Jordan Mid. We got Yep in the building. Cutboy 412. And Angie, a.k.a. Baby Stiller. Hello, Miss Lady. Appreciate you coming through as well. We got to always say hello to our lovely ladies in the chat. And speaking of which, here's another one. Miss Destiny. What's up, Miss Destiny? Appreciate you as well. One of the lovely, lovely ladies of the chat. All right, man, let me get to it because I don't want to be going too fast, right? Or actually taking too long as I got my timer going. If I'm going to tell you guys to be quick, then I got to be quick as well. So let's jump right to it. Whoa, we got a donation already. Round of applause. Baby Steelers says, hey, Sim and Steelers family. Hello, hello, hello. Thank you for the donation. Oh, here's another one. As far as someone I always got to shout out, Mr. Patrick Covington Sr. Appreciate you, sir. Thank you for coming through. Really appreciate that. And there goes Miss Debbie. Hello, Miss Debbie. Y'all know, Miss Debbie. One of the all-time favorites, man. One of the ladies of the chat. And I say all-time favorites because some of you guys really, really had a lot to say about Debbie when she was on a couple weeks ago when we talked about one, Brian Flores. So she gained a lot of fans. And Debbie and all of the ladies here gain a lot of fans when you guys are on. But yeah, love the ladies, man. I love what y'all do, what perspective you guys bring to the show. But all right, let's get to it, man. Let me let you guys know what I'm going to talk about here tonight. I'm all over the place. Let me read my notes to you guys. We're really just going to, of course, talk about Kevin Colbert. We're going to kind of recap some of the things that he said when he recently talked to the media. There's speculation out there that one JuJu Smith-Schuster may be a Patriot, could be a destination for him. So I'll just briefly talk about that. And we'll talk a little bit about the quarterback situation, of course, as well as we will be talking about Brian Flores. Listen, that is the main topic, and you guys know the meat and potatoes topic. I usually just hold that off for a moment and, until later in the show, usually maybe after the phone calls, but I might switch that up tonight. I might just make that my topic, and maybe we'll end with phone calls since, I'm kind of condensing the show. And, yeah, that's about all I have. And then I have a question out there, man, and we'll get to this when I talk about it, but I do wonder, is Mason Rudolph as bad as some people say he is? Keep that question in your mind. If you want to comment now, I'm probably not going to see it. Maybe the chat will see it, but keep that question in your mind and I will explain that to you here in a moment. So let me get started with JuJu. Listen, you guys know how I feel about JuJu Smith-Schuster. I love the kid. I think, what he would do and what he does for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I really appreciate that from him. I'd hate to lose him. But at the end of the day, it's a business. What is it going to cost? First and foremost, you have to remember what JuJu said out of his own mouth. He said, the quarterback situation will help dictate where he goes. Now, of course, free agency happens before a draft, but free agency doesn't necessarily happen before he has to make a decision. What I mean is this. He could wait and see what the Steelers do in free agency if he's looking for another quarterback. Could do that, right? But more than likely, how are you going to see who the quarterback is going to be before you're getting offers? So more than likely, JuJu Smith-Schuster probably will not be a Pittsburgh Steeler. Again, I know his heart is there. I get it. I'm not going to ask him to take a hometown discount. I'm not going to ask him to do any of that. Listen, as a human being, knowing these guys have to make money, they have to do what's best for them in their lifetime while they're able to get it. I'm not blaming any player for leaving if they feel they can get more money elsewhere. And it just is what it is. Now, him going to the Patriots, again, I don't play that game either. Oh, I hate to see him go to the same way we hated to see Mike Hilton go to the Bengals. It is what it is, man. I don't read too much into that. Unless it's a guy that, unless it's like your starting quarterback goes to the opposing team, in your division or in the conference. But I mean, listen, I'm not, not trying to discredit JuJu. I'm just saying, if he goes to a team that we're going to have to play, so what? So what? We can't be scared like that, right? But I wish him the best. I would like for him to still be a Steeler. You know how I feel about him. But again, listen, He made he made a little bit of noise a few weeks ago, kind of talking about the practice facility with the Cowboys and yucking it up with Dak and all that. And I'm here to say, that might not be a good move for him because looking at the receivers they have now, I don't know who's a free agent, but I'm assuming that both, what's my man's man? I can't remember my man's name now. Cooper and Lamb, I'm sure would be there. I don't know about Gallup, but I don't think you're the number one option in Dallas. You definitely got a chance to be one of the go-to or number one guys in New England, so that kind of makes sense. But we'll see. I wish him the best. I want him to be with the Steelers, but if he's not, I'm not going to hate JuJu. I will say this, though. Ain't going to be no TikTok in New England. And y'all can say, people always want to say, oh, and Steelers coaching staff should be more like Bill Belichick and be strict and da-da-da-da-da. I don't really believe in that. I'm just pointing out the obvious. Bill Belichick ain't going to be having that. Bill Belichick ain't going to let you live and be fun JuJu. No. So you might want to consider all of that as well before you go elsewhere. I'm just saying. Let me get a sip of water, guys. 1 second. Sorry about that, guys. Got to stay hydrated, right? But hey, yeah. There you have it. No TikToking in New England. So the next thing, let's get into this Kevin Colbert stuff, man, so I can, breeze through it. It's quite a bit to talk about. A couple things that Kevin Colbert addressed, and I'll, basically give my light comments on some of the things he talked about. He mentioned free agency and whether or not the Steelers will be aggressive. He kind of did the maybe we would, maybe we won't approach, and that's pretty much what he said. He's pretty much said that the Steelers will kind of keep the same approach, but it's not to say that they won't be aggressive, right? So he's giving you a little bit of a cliffhanger. He acknowledged that the Steelers definitely have more money than they are accustomed to having. So we'll have to see. I thought it was very interesting, how he worded some of these things, but listen, I do expect them to be a little more aggressive. Even if you look at Kevin Colbert's history, let's say in the last 3 to 4 years, it's been more outside of the norm. Like even going all the way back to when they signed to Steven Nelson. They have thrown a little more money out there. So if you look at that as his more recent norm, maybe he takes that norm to another level with more money. I wouldn't expect them to make a huge splash because, again, I think the Steelers are very conscious with their cap space, even when you have space, thinking long term. But I would expect to see at least some aggressiveness like a Steven Nelson contract on somebody. I'm very interested in seeing what we do in free agency. I cannot wait because, again, that's always going to dictate, what positions I think we really will approach aggressively in the draft. What holes do we plug in free agency? I mean, offensive line is definitely still on the table. A wide receiver is definitely still on the table. A secondary player, cornerback preferably, definitely on the table. Perhaps an inside linebacker. More than likely on the table. Joe Schobert. Not sure we're going to eat that contract. Just saying. We talked about that last week. So there's a lot to keep an eye on. And I will definitely be keeping my eyes on free agency to see what splashes we make, if any. And, oh yeah, the quarterback, by the way. And Colbert didn't really go into detail whether or not they're going to address it in free agency. But obviously, quarterback position, you got to keep an eye on that too to see if they go that direction in free agency. Next up, Kevin Colbert also said that he did talk to one Stephon Tuitt. And they said that they're open to inviting Stephon Tuitt back into the fold for 2022. Now, I thought that was interesting. Maybe I read into stuff a little too much, but I thought that was interesting that you would word it that way, that we are open to having him back in 2022. Well, he's back regardless, right? If nothing else happens, he's going to be under contract. So again, I'm one of those people who really pay attention to words. And if you really pay attention to what Kevin Colbert and Mike Tomlin says at times, you can really kind of see what's going on, what they're thinking. So the fact that he's saying we're open to, that almost makes it sound like that their decision was already, you know what, maybe we cut or trade. Again, I don't know the cap situation in terms of the penalties and all of that stuff. If we were to cut him, I don't know if it's advantageous to do that. I don't know. But it definitely sounds like when you word it like that, it's more so we may have been looking to move on. Or it could be maybe Stephon Tuitt has decided to give it up. And maybe those words, we're open to having him back, means we're going to let him decide. Could be that. We don't know. I'm just saying, if you pay attention to the words, I think it's a good chance that it's one or two of those things. It's either the Steelers have already decided that they may move on, but they would welcome him back, or Stephon Tuitt has kind of made it known or hinted around maybe not coming back at all. But they're still open to him coming back again. Kind of remember, what Keith Butler was saying towards the end of the season, saying, listen, we really don't know where Stephon Tuitt is at. So maybe it is more that. Maybe it's more him deciding if he wants to play. I'm just saying. We never know. We never know, man. But, that almost sounds like that could be a possibility. So just saying. Just keep that in mind. Let's see. What else do I have here? He said that he felt like the loss of Stephon Tuitt and Tyson Alu, and as well as Devin Bush not being 100% off of the ACL injury was definitely a huge reason why the run defense wasn't as successful, or it was as bad as it was in this past season. And again, he said the cliche thing that everyone always says, no excuses, next man up mentality, of course. But when you're missing pieces, you have to take a look at that. You have to pay attention to that and say, that did affect you. Again, you guys watched the Super Bowl, didn't you? When Odell Beckham Jr. went down, didn't you kind of look at that game and say, uh-oh. Regardless of how effective you think OBJ is, he definitely was effective for the Rams. Okay? And he was already having an effect on that game, understanding that Cooper Kupp now is drawing a lot of attention, what he should. OBJ was starting to eat early in that game. So when he went down, offense slowed down a little bit. Give some credit to the Bengals, but I'm just saying that offense slowed down a little bit without him because the game plan has been disrupted. Same difference with the Steelers. We can say next man up and all of that, but when you have a guy like Alu and all that he does against the run, and Stephon Tuitt, all that he has been able to do against the run and offering some pass rush, come on, man. You have to say, yeah, that hurt. Because again, what do we always say? The front end helps the linebackers. And then with Devin Bush not playing 100% confident, it's a cumulative effect. So I'm just saying, never an excuse, but sometimes it's reality. Let's see, what else? He said they haven't made a decision on Devin Bush's fifth-year option. Excuse me. I think it's safe to say, well, I won't say that. I can't say safe to say because me saying safe to say would be definitive. But I think my guess might be that they're probably not going to extend it. But a couple things could determine that. I don't think they have to do it until May. Draft, free agency, all of that might determine whether or not they pick up the fifth-year option. They might be in a situation where they have to. Remember Bud Dupree? Steelers were pretty much in a position at that moment that they had to do it. And again, I'm not comparing the two, but we all can agree that Bud Dupree hadn't played that great until that last season, right? That last season before the fifth-year option. No, I'm tripping. Because the fifth-year option happens at the end of the third year. So, yeah, at that point, Bud Dupree wasn't much. He was, Bud Dupree didn't really start showing himself until year 4 and 5. So, might be in a situation where they're forced to give Devin Bush that option because they really don't have any other options in the foreseeable future. So keep an eye on that as well, free agency and draft. And he also mentioned that the general manager will not be hired until after the draft. Now, AR2 kind of alluded to that, before when he spoke to Missy Matthews. I don't know how I feel about that. You can look at it on both sides of the coin, and I hate to play both sides, but, play with me for a moment. On one side of the coin, I see where it makes sense. You want to keep everything cohesive, the process, like now, right? Here's why you do that. All of the stuff that Kevin Colbert and Mike Tomlin do together, the pro days, the Senior Bowl, all of the scouting things, and they all meet up and talk, the combine, all of that stuff that Tomlin and Colbert normally does. Maybe you want to keep that cohesiveness because the GM isn't in place yet. So maybe you want to keep that cohesiveness for the last season. Then you hire a new GM, and then by the time next season rolls around, then that GM can start his process with the coaching staff in terms of scouting and going out to pro days, et cetera, et cetera. That would be my guess. I can't say if this is the for sure reason why you do it, but that would be my pro to that. Now, the flip side, the con would be is that you don't allow the new GM to have any say in the draft process. And now however the draft goes, however free agency goes, now you're asking the new GM to pick up the pieces, pick up from there. And that might not be the best for that guy. Let's just assume that he wouldn't do some of the things that Kevin Colbert is going to do. So it almost puts the new GM behind the 8 ball in that regard. But like I said, I get it. I definitely get it. And it's probably more so what I said. You want to keep everything cohesive, and then you pass it on. Like, think about it. Now, I don't remember if he retired right after the draft, but think about Ozzie Newsome. Remember how Ozzie Newsome did that final draft? And I cannot remember whether or not he went on to be the GM for the remainder of the season. Probably he might have. I don't remember. But I kind of get it from a draft perspective, why you would, keep things status quo and then bring in a new guy. I feel like it's kind of a disservice to the new guy in terms of, again, he's now working and wheeling and dealing with pieces that are put in place that he had nothing to do with. So pros and cons, but I don't think it would be such a huge effect. And I know some of you guys are seeing the lighting change here. What's happening is I'm looking at my Google Docs and it's a white screen. So obviously if anybody knows anything about lighting and things like that, when white is on the screen, it's blowing out the light. So that's what you're seeing there. Just like, I know sometimes you guys say I tell y'all too much, but I like to keep y'all informed. Next couple things that he said here. Let me see. Man, I've been sneezing. Oh, by the way, before I went to Florida and all of that, we had a little scare. We thought, COVID may have gotten us. It did actually get my wife. And apparently it seems as if my son and myself missed it. Or maybe when we took our home test, we took them too early, because it's kind of weird that my wife would have it and we didn't. And none of us were acting as if we did. But anyway, since then, me and my son has tested a total of 3 times. I took a test, another one before I left to go to Florida. That was negative. They also did the PCR one that they sent off. That was negative. So, that's great news. However, I don't know. Maybe, again, I may have had it. And then, because again, with the home test thing, just to give y'all some news I didn't know about, the reason why they send you 2 tests is because you're supposed to test at certain days. It won't register positive until certain days. So it's possible that maybe me and my son took the test too early, right? We may have taken the test too early because we showed some light symptoms before my wife. And of course, as soon as we felt it, we took a test. But from what I'm hearing, even the doctor told me you're not supposed to do that. You allow a couple days. So we may have actually had it. But again, I'm just giving y'all that information, man. I tell y'all everything. I say that to say, just make sure you're being safe and careful out there, guys, because you never know. But it looks like we're on the downswing, so hopefully this whole thing will be behind us soon. But next two things that Colbert said, I'm going to actually read some quick paragraphs out of what he said. One of which was regarding Kendrick Green. Kendrick Green. He said, "We know that Kendrick Green can play guard. We know that he can play center. Is it our best option? Question mark. Well," he says, "we'll see where we go in these next few months because we don't know the options that are going to be available to us." That, my friends, is very telling. The fact that he said, we know he can play guard, we know that he can play center. Then he says, is it our best option? He's talking about center. We'll see where we go in these next few months because we don't know the options that are going to be available to us. That, my friends, right there is telling you Kendrick Green may not be the center next season, or he may be moved to guard. Round of applause to C. Antoine Hill. He says, speedy recovery for the fam, Sim. Yeah, man, my wife she recovered just fine. Very minimal symptoms. It's nothing happened. I guess, I don't know, some people oppose it, but I'll let you guys know, we're vaccinated and things like that. And maybe that's the reason why her symptoms wasn't bad. Not at all. I mean, honestly, she didn't feel bad enough to even take a test. The only reason why she did, funny story, she was on the phone with her mom and her brother, and she had like a little mini cough. And, her brother, we always joke and play with each other. He was like, ooh, that sounds a little COVID-ish. And she was like, So she took a test and come to find out she was positive. But she had no symptoms, really. And even the couple days that I felt some quote unquote symptoms, I had a slightly sore throat on a Tuesday. That last Tuesday I talked to you guys, not last week, but the week before that. And I may have even said on the show that, man, my throat is a little scratchy. Wednesday I was fine. That night, so Wednesday night, Thursday morning, my throat hurt a little more. And then I was saying to myself, you know what, if my throat keep hurting, I'm going to go get a test. That morning, I woke up, 9 o'clock, was fine all day. And I didn't test again. So, again, like I said, me and my son, we don't know if we actually had it and we tested too soon or what. But I will say this. If we did, it was very minimal symptoms. And, yeah, my wife is doing fine, man. But I appreciate you saying that. But back to football, guys. What else do I have here? One other thing Colbert mentioned, and this is going to be the good one. This is in regards to quarterback. He says, we will go into camp with 4. If we had to start a season today with Mason as our starter, let's go. Let's try to build the best team we can around him. And that's just the way it is. Mason is 5-4-1 as a starter. One of those games was this year. He only found out he was going to be the starter Saturday night, and he tried to give us what he could. We almost won that game, but we didn't. I'm comfortable that Mason has won more games than he's lost as a starter. Where that can go, we'll see. Then he said, to be an NFL starter you can win with, you've got to prove it over 16 games, and I'm anxious to see that if that's the case. Guys, what he said there is what I've been saying all along. Let me sum this up for you, because basically the question was, are they going to get a quarterback in free agency? Will they draft? Yada, yada, yada. Before this little piece that I read, he also said, we actually only have 2 guys under contract. technically, Dwayne Haskins isn't under contract yet, but he says he's pretty sure they're going to put the tender on him. So he's going to be under contract. He's a restricted free agent. He said they will go into camp with 4. This almost sounds like there's almost a guarantee that they may draft somebody and then they'll bring in a lower level free agent. Or maybe they still bring in a lower level free agent and another lower level free agent. But at the end of the day, we know there's going to be new quarterbacks in the room. Could there be like a Duck Hodges type of quarterback in the room? Possibly. Like an undrafted free agent to be a camp body. But listen to what he said about Rudolph. He says, and I quote, "To be an NFL starter you can win with, you've got to prove it over 16 games. And I'm anxious to see that if that's the case." He's basically saying, listen, this guy has not played a full season. At 5-4-1, you cannot determine whether he is good or bad. That's what Kevin Colbert is saying. Now, I know we all got our own opinions. But like I said, the likelihood is that the Steelers go into this season with Mason Rudolph as the starter. It's starting to get a little more clear. It's starting to get a little more clear. I don't know if I think the Steelers are going to sit tight, man, at 20. As I sit here today, a lot of this stuff could change. You know, this could be fluid. But as I sit here today, with Colbert continuing to say that, he's clearly saying that we want competition. And Mason Rudolph has more wins than he has losses. And if the season started today, Mason would be the starter. And he gave him also a nod by saying, listen, in order to know if a guy can be a starter for you, he has to play 16 games. He also said earlier in that paragraph that I didn't read that Dwayne Haskins can grow into a starter. So he's telling you already where they are in the depth chart. Rudolph is the starter. Haskins is the 2 by default, but that could change depending on who comes in. But here's the question I have for you guys, man. Do we know? Do we know how good or bad Mason Rudolph is? Are we being unfair to Mason Rudolph? Not just us, but even the media. I heard Ryan Clark go off about him today. Are we being unfair in the sense of saying, guys, this dude has played 10 football games? Now, I'm not trying to change anyone's mind. I'm just saying there might be some truth to that. I've been telling y'all I don't think that he's as bad as some people says he is. I don't know if I see franchise quarterback potential with Rudolph. I really don't see that. He hasn't shown me that. But Rudolph has shown me flashes of a guy that can be the stopgap. So let's stop right there. That's what I'm saying. When I say I don't know if Rudolph is that terrible, or when I say I don't know if, Rudolph can't do it, I'm talking about just being the quarterback for now. He's not the future. He hasn't shown me that yet, but he has shown me that we can win games with him if our defense is playing, if the run game is going. I think you can win some games with Mason Rudolph. He's going to take his lumps, as well as most quarterbacks do, but I don't think he's complete trash. And people saying that he cannot be a starter, I don't know if I could definitively say that with the amount of games that he's played. Now, let's say he plays another 10 games this season. Then I might be able to have a real assessment at that point. But that's just me. Again, I want a franchise quarterback. I don't think Mason Rudolph is it. But again, I don't know if I've seen enough to say that he is absolute trash. I just don't believe that. He's not the answer, but I don't know if the guy's absolute trash. That's just my opinion. But guys, let's get to the phone. Well, we don't have any phone calls. So, cool. Man, I hate going in and out of hot to cold weather, man. As soon as I got back and went outside, that cold weather just messed with me, man, after being in Florida. But we don't have any phone calls in queue. I don't mind that at all. So I'm going to go ahead and move on to the Brian Flores news. I'm going to chop that up with you guys and see what you guys have to say, and then, we can call it a day. But let me see what you guys are saying about Rudolph. Charlie Brown says, bridge guy. Rajan says Mason was given plenty of chance to show he could be the starter, and he didn't. Okay, that's fair. I'm not going to disagree with anyone's assessment. Destiny is agreeing with that. Real Fact says, depends on your expectations. He's a bridge guy, bridge quarterback, and he can carry the load for 8 to 10 games, which is all we need. Okay. Kenya says the draft won't be the only way to address our holes. Okay, he's talking about other positions. Keen Go Crazy says, I just don't understand what the plan is if you start Mason next season. Well, let me ask you guys this. I'm going to ask you guys a real question real quick before I go to Brian Flores. What's the answer for next season? Let me hear it. Let me hear it. What is the answer for next season? What do you guys think the answer is for next season? Based off of what my man King Go Crazy just said, he says, I don't understand the plan if you go into the season with Mason Rudolph. So what is your guys' master plan going into next season? If you had it your way, what would your way be as far as the quarterback? It's different, says draft a QB. Who? I'm only asking because I want to hear the real plan. I don't want to hear the generic draft a guy. No. Who do you draft? Who's in this class that you think takes the Steelers to the promised land? Adrian Holquin says, if we weren't Steelers fans, we would be much more accepting of Rudolph. That is a fact. I think I believe that. I do think I believe that. What else y'all got? Come on, give it to me. Debbie says, show up the trenches, build up the depth, and help Mason not lose games. I like that, Debbie. See, Debbie, that's kind of where I'm going, but I want to see what the rest of the people have to say here. Okay, so Kenny Pickett or Malik Willis, that takes us to the promised land next year. I'm just asking. Those guys take us to the promised land, or do you think those guys are franchise quarterbacks? That's a better question. T. Heflin says, plan is to go with Rudolph and wait next year for a quarterback. Fix the trenches. I'm right there with you. Who's DW for? Draft a rookie, Caleb Ellaby, and build a talent on the offense around him. You can sign Tyrod Taylor for better results than Mason Rudolph. Oh, it's getting tricky now. Come on, keep it coming, guys. Give me a couple more, and then I'll go to Brian Flores. I like this. I like this discussion. Like I said, I don't have all the answers. Actually, we have 2 phone calls. So let's take the 2 phone calls really quick, and then we'll come back, hit Brian Flores. But like I said, guys, we're at 23 minutes, and I'm wrapping up in an hour. Y'all saying Deshaun Watson. Come on, man. We all would take Deshaun Watson, but y'all know the cloud that's hanging over his head. So that's not even an option right now. Jimmy G, do you know how much it's going to cost to get Jimmy G? If he's not cut, he might be cut. But is Jimmy G much better than Mason Rudolph? I'm just asking, guys, because definitively no one can answer this question. But all right, let's get to the phone calls, man. Let's get to the quick phone calls, and then we'll get back to Brian Flores, and then I'll be out of here. All right, first one in the queue. It is Mr. Winningham, area code 803. What you got for us tonight, sir?
Good evening. You know, now that everybody's talking about it, I've listened to all the people on the TV. Mason Rudolph is probably our best opportunity. The quarterbacks that are out there either are going to be too expensive, or they won't give us any more than what Mason Rudolph actually offers us now. As far as Brian Flores, it was an excellent hiring. He's going to help rebuild the defense. Now, granted, Brian Flores can't get out there and coach, but like I said, with Mason Rudolph, I agree with everybody. Build the trenches, build around him, and hopefully the defense is back to top 5. And who knows what next year may bring. I'll be real short. Everybody have a great week. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Whittingham. Like always, man, always bringing that word of wisdom. Great points there. I don't disagree whatsoever. And I was going to explain this after the call, but I might as well say it now, then I'll get to the next call. We have to face the facts still in nature. We are in rebuild. So what would you rather do? Build the rest of the team? Given the fact that right now there's no quarterback really that you really think is the guy. Again, I like Malik Willis. I like Kenny Pickett. Might even like Corral. It just depends. And I told you guys, I'm almost willing to take a shot at Ritter. I keep calling him Riddler. I'm almost willing to take a shot with him late. Late second, third, maybe. But at the end of the day, if none of us feel like there's the definitive guy that we're gonna land in the projected that's in the draft or the free agent, and you're rebuilding anyway, you might as well build the team in other areas so you can be ready when the franchise quarterback comes. Just my thoughts, man. All right, one more, guys. Area code 334. What you got for us?
All right, that's Phil. What's up, man? How you doing today?
Good. What's going on?
Man, Mr. Whittingham know what he's been talking about, We got to build around Rudolph, I don't care if we win 3 games next year. I don't care, I'm looking at the future of this team. Signing Brian Flores was just a piece to the puzzle, man. That defense is gonna be a piece. Man, we're gonna have. I'm just gonna sit back and just enjoy it because I'm not looking for instant gratification of bringing quarterbacks in. Only thing I'm hoping that we can bring in is Deshaun Watson. And that's it. I don't care about any other quarterback out there. He had a hearing today. I don't know if it was today or it's going to be tomorrow. And it's everything going to be good. Playboy is coming to the P, man. He's coming to the P, so I'm not even sweating it. We're going to build around Rudolph. We're looking towards the future. We got so many young quarterbacks in college that are going to be coming out in the next 2 or 3 years. So be patient. Let's be patient. We're going to turn this thing into another. But we're going to be a beast around here, man. I ain't got nothing to say. Phil. We're going to be what it is. I'm out.
Man, definitely appreciate the call. Appreciate the energy. And I can't disagree with you at all, man. I mean, it's one of those things. It's like pick your poison. I know it hurts. See, guys, I got the shirt on. I'm always Steelers. I know it hurts, but we have to accept where we are. Which poison do you want? Do you want to try to jump out the window and try to get a quarterback now? And I'm just saying, man. Now, who knows? Like you said, Watson had a hearing earlier. Who knows? Mess around and things get cleared and he falls into our lap. Hey, I'll take him. I'm just saying, I'm not going to talk about Deshaun Watson until the legal stuff is out of there. However, there is one caveat to that, and I'll get to it in a moment. All right, guys, we're at 17 minutes. I was only going to take those calls, but we got a couple more. I got time for 2 more. Guys, please, a minute. Like I said, you see the timer, and the reason why I'm fast tonight because my son is here, alone. My wife is not here. I'm not going to leave him up there by himself. So I got to fly through this. So I'm going to try to get through these calls, but I'm a minute. If you can do it in a minute, let's get it because I still got to wrap up my Flores point. 484, what you got for us?
What's going on, Sim? I'll be quick. I just don't understand what the plan is if we start Mason next season. And my thought process behind that is I personally don't believe this team is too far off from competing. I don't think we're as far away as a lot of other Steelers fans think. Like, the team was still competitive this year with all our problems that we had. And I think that we could shore up the offensive line. We could probably sign a couple guys in free agency to fill up DB and a couple other holes that we had. If we make a splash at the quarterback position, we right back in contention. If you start Mason next season, I kind of feel like that's just a waste of a season almost, because we know he's not the franchise guy. I still think the defense is going to be elite next year. So if Mason is the starter, I do think we'll be a middle-of-the-pack team. We're not going to get a high draft pick, so we probably won't end up getting one of the elite quarterbacks coming out next year. We're going to be right back in the same spot. I just feel like we got to make a splash at QB. Like I say, either trade for a guy like Watson, as long as the legal situation gets cleared, or draft a rookie quarterback. That's all I got for tonight. Thank you.
Yeah, man. Thanks for the call. Appreciate it. And like I said, guys, there's no right or wrong answer. I don't disagree with anyone's assessment. And like you said, you think the team is closer than others. We could be. My only question, though, and I had to even ask myself this, who is the splash? Like, again, I like Malik Willis. I like his rawness as far as that talent, escapability, and all of that. But do we think any of the rookie class quarterbacks this year is really the guy who's going to come in and win 12, 13 games? We don't know. It's a question mark. You could say the same about Rudolph. So that's why I'm saying it could go either way. I don't think there's a definitive. I don't know if we could say this is the splash, because to me, a splash would be if we draft, that means we got to move up. I don't know about that. I don't know about that. That's a tough one. All right, last one, guys. Please make it quick, man. Please. We're at 14 minutes. 443, what you got for us?
What's good, Sam, man? This is on one. Just real quick prayers to you and the fam. Praying COVID away from your family and your house, man. I'll answer your question. No one is taking the Steelers to the promised land next year. Not a veteran and none of the quarterbacks in the draft. It's just that simple. Mason will most likely start, but the reason why Mason is not the guy, I'll tell you why Mason is not the guy. Because if Mason was the guy, Ben Roethlisberger wouldn't have played this past year in Pittsburgh. They wouldn't allow him to take a pay cut to play. They'd just let him go. That right there showed that Mason wasn't the guy, because they wanted Ben, a 39-year-old quarterback, a statue of himself, to play his last year on a reduced salary. So that right there shows you that Mason is not the guy. Thanks, man. Have a good one.
Yeah, man. Thanks. Appreciate it, man. And thank you for the prayers and all that, too. And like I said, I think that's behind us, but still, prayers going forward for everybody. You know, now that COVID is, drastically declining, I pray it away from everyone's family. I got 2 donations, too, I'm going to hit in a second. But let me go ahead and answer, comment to what you said. You're right. I don't think anyone takes us to the promised land. We probably are not going to draft the franchise quarterback either, nor is Mason Rudolph the franchise quarterback. The only thing I don't know if I can agree with 100% is saying that he would have played over Ben and they wouldn't allow Ben to come back. I don't believe that. Here's the reason why, more so than anything else. Ben Roethlisberger is your Hall of Fame quarterback. They was going to let Ben Roethlisberger play until he wanted to leave. And is it bad to say that Ben Roethlisberger would have projected to be a better quarterback than Mason Rudolph, even at 39? It's Ben. And we've been seeing a decline with Ben, but Ben still showed that he could play at times, especially if he had protection, especially if the run game was going. Ben could still play. So I don't know if I can agree with that part, that it wouldn't have mattered. Ben Roethlisberger wasn't going to get sat down. They were going to allow him to come back and play as long as he wanted to, because that's how much the organization, in my opinion, I could be wrong, but in my opinion, that's how much they love and appreciated Ben Roethlisberger. So I won't put that on Mason Rudolph. But anyway, man, good calls. Great calls, man. I appreciate each and every one of them. Let's get a round of applause here for Brother Mark as well as Solo One for the donations. Appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. Let's read what they had to say. Brother Mark says, looking back in years past wise, the Steelers' first pick at 20 will depend on what pro days Tomlin and Colbert attend. Absolutely. You are correct with that. It is going to be interesting to see what they do this season, especially since quarterback is in play. Solo One says, what about making a move for Trey Lance, Jordan Love, or Daniel Jones? TJ and Minka will be wasted on a rebuild. Anything but Rudolph. I feel like we are settling. Mariota or Trubisky even. Nah. Again, are we willing to say Trubisky is a better option right now than Mason Rudolph? Listen, I think whoever said it earlier, if we weren't Steelers fans, I think we wouldn't be as hard on Mason Rudolph. And again, I'm not saying he's the answer. I'm just saying who is definitively a better option? There are a couple, of course. Watson, of course. But Mariota, I don't know. Other than the fact that Mariota is a mobile guy, I don't know if he's definitively a better option. I don't know that. Trey Lance, ain't no way San Francisco's giving up Trey Lance. It's more likely that they release Jimmy G. Jordan Love, that might be the same situation, seeing as that Aaron Rodgers is entering the latter part of his career. So, I don't know. I don't disagree with it, but I just don't know if those things would happen. Round of applause to Patrick Covington. Thank you for the donation. And excuse me, let me correct myself. This is Mr. Covington Sr. Sorry for calling you Patrick. I'm old-fashioned, guys. I respect those who are elder than me. Mr. Covington says, Sim, if the Steelers can't run the ball effectively, nor can they stop the run, so what is the point of making anything else a priority? That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, Mr. Covington. That's the thing. It's like we all trying to go get that next quarterback this year. There's many more holes to fill. And I'm going to tell you right now, if I'm a GM, unless I can pull off some major moves in free agency, again, we're going to wait and see what happens in free agency. Unless I can pull off some major moves, I got to do that first. I got to get the trenches together. Quarterback might have to wait till 2023. I'm just being reasonable here. Now, if one of those dudes fall, sure. Why not? Why not take a chance this year and next if the guy falls to you? But I will not campaign or champion or cheer on trading up for any of the QBs that will be available in this draft. No. Not when there's much more that the Steelers need to do. That's why I'm saying it's likely that the reindeer is our starter. It just is what it is. But all right, guys, let's get into the Brian Flores news. Wow, one more donation. Round of applause to BSG74. What about Jacoby Brissett? Played with Canada in college and NC and Flores in Miami. I wouldn't be mad at Brissett. He's not going to cost too much, I don't think. And I wouldn't be mad at him. Brissett is not that bad of a quarterback. I mean, he's not great, but he from the times that I've watched him play, I haven't watched him in recent years. I got to see him up and close in person when we played the Colts. When Minka got that interception, which was against the backup, by the way. It wasn't Brissett. But he's smart with the football. He's a Belichick product. He's one of those guys. So I wouldn't mind that. How mobile is he? I don't know. I mean, he can get out of the pocket, but I don't know if he is considered mobile, but I wouldn't be mad at that as a bridge gap. But again, I haven't watched him in a long time, so I don't know where his skill set is right now. But thanks for the donation. But all right, let me try to round this up, guys, so I can get out of here. I don't really have much to say outside of what I said in my little 2-minute video that I posted over the weekend. I love this hire. I love the hiring of Brian Flores for the Steelers for multiple reasons. One, I thought maybe we would take a shot at him as defensive coordinator, right? We all thought that could happen. And then we basically promote Terrell Austin. But never did I think we would be able to get a Brian Flores as the senior defensive assistant, which is what Terrell Austin was, / linebackers coach, which is, if I remember correctly, is what he worked on at New England. He has a resume, folks. He has a resume. This was a great hire. Regardless of what you guys want to feel about the lawsuit, whatever. This was a great hire because of his football acumen and his resume. Took Miami to 2 back-to-back seasons. That hadn't happened in 20 years. They won, 7 or 8 straight games last season to end up over 500. You saw what he was able to do to help New England's defense. He has a resume. This is a great hire. Now you got some defensive minds for real on our staff. No disrespect to Keith Butler, but I'm just saying, you got a younger guy now, and hopefully Tomlin is all-inclusive, and he has a lot of input. I can't wait to see what they're able to do. Question Kenyon threw at me and Tony in text earlier. You think he fixes Devin Bush? Woo! That's a great question. Let's see if he can get Devin Bush back to playing confident and back to being what he was. And maybe help develop some of the other inside guys. Maybe help to develop Buddy Johnson. What else can he bring to the table? I'm loving it. And here's the thing I love about it too, and this is the caveat I said about Deshaun Watson. The Pittsburgh Steelers don't usually run towards controversy. That was the biggest shocker of them all. They ran towards it. Brian Flores has an active lawsuit against the NFL and its owners, quote unquote, in a way, right? Because the owners are the governing body for the most part. And the Steelers take him on. Mike Tomlin can't do that without the say-so of AR2 and whoever else makes executive decisions. Round of applause to the Steelers organization. Let's give them another round of applause. This is quite a surprise, man. Quite a surprise. They don't run towards controversy. So with that little caveat, maybe, I know I'm reaching here, but maybe they would be willing to get to Deshaun Watson and they're staying on the low. Who knows? Now, the controversies are different, but I'm just saying, Flores controversy is active right now as well. I'm just saying, keep an eye on it. I don't think it happens, but I never would have thought they would have took on Flores. But I think it's a phenomenal hire, man. Again, for one, we see what he has done from a football standpoint. He's been a solid coach in the league. We saw what he was able to do with a losing franchise as the head coach. And, a lot of his recognition and things of that nature came from the Belichick tree. He's bringing a lot of knowledge, a lot of experience, and a been there, done that type of guy that's going to help the defense. So I like the collective minds of Mike Tomlin, Terrell Austin, and Brian Flores. That's one heck of a staff. There's nothing negative to say about it, Other than if you want to say it's going to draw some unwanted attention, perhaps. But from a football standpoint, honestly, there's nothing negative about this. You're getting a head coach, D coordinator, both caliber type of guy as your linebacker coach, as your defensive assistant. Look how strong that resume is now. And some people, you may hate or love Terrell Austin, but I mean, again, he's a been there, done that type of guy. Probably hasn't had the same level of success as Tomlin and Flores, but I'm just saying, having him and Flores together, come on, man. Come on. Another round of applause to see Antoine Hill for the donation. He says he uses Flores' defense in Madden. But yeah, it's going to be interesting, man. And like I said, that was my main topic, and I don't have much to say because I do not disagree with this. Not even a little bit. Great hire from a football standpoint. And I'm excited to see where it goes. I will spend a couple minutes in here, guys. The timer is about to count all the way down. But I will spend maybe 2 or 3 more minutes. Fire away your comments, guys, and then I'm going to get out of here. What do y'all got? What do y'all got? I'll read a few, and then I'm going to bounce. Time to go. I think Flores is going to have the Munchak role, and Austin is going to have the Todd Haley role. Pretty exciting. Adrian Hoagland said yes. And I saw Cam Hayward kind of alluded to that. He feels like that the Flores hiring will be, kind of what it was when Munchak came there. Berg City says, not a yes man. Will Tomlin delegate will Tomlin delegate and say go? I missed that last little piece. But yeah, I don't believe Flores is going to be a yes man whatsoever. Brett Richard says, I hope y'all realize if they trade for Watson, we're going to have no picks at all. How is that smart? Listen, Brett, you're living in reality like myself. It, again, is no disrespect to any fans that has an idea or an opinion. But sometimes, guys, we got to look at reality. It's the same thing with the Russell Wilson and stuff like that. Come on, man. Yeah. Y'all got to look at it from a monetary standpoint as well. And monetary doesn't always just mean money. I'm talking about draft capital and all of that. Football Mind 02 says Flores will take care of the smaller, intricate details on the defense, especially in the front seven. He will get linebackers better with eyes discipline also. I hope so, man. I hope so. Football Mind. And also, I like to add this. I hope he could be another guy to help Tomlin with some things like time management, challenges, things of that nature. Please. The Red Wolf says, B-Flow is going to make our team come together in a way never before in sports. Okay. All right. I wouldn't be mad at that. Tony Barnes says, maybe we got the next head coach if coach decides to retire. Possibly. I don't think Tomlin is going anywhere. I mean, I think he's definitely going to, coach out the remainder of his contract, but who knows? Maybe he is a head coach in the waiting. Let's keep our eyes on that. Adrian says, hopefully Flores can stick around. It's different than Munchak in that he already had head coach success and will be in demand, but Eric B staying in KC for so long gives me hope. Yeah, that's a fact. That is a fact. Y. Dickey says, Flores was an excellent hire from a football perspective. Flores will be able to have a positive impact on the LBs, whoever they may be in 2022. And having another mind and game planning is a positive. Absolutely. Jay Underrated says, I'm excited for our defense, especially what we do in free agency and draft. Our defense might be our offense. Laugh out loud. Hope not, but I get your point. Enigma says, he says, unpopular opinion. But I'd trade Devin Bush and Chase Claypool. I can find better replacements in the draft and free agency. Well, Claypool, you might have a chance. But what's Devin Bush's trade capital? Seeing that he didn't have a great season last year, he's coming off an injury. Other teams saw that. And he would be playing in his final season. What's the benefit for a team to trade for a guy in his final season? Claypool, you got a better chance because he's going into his third. So that's the only thing I'd say on that. Brett Richards says, Ryan Clark made himself look like a clown today trashing Mason when he's barely played and blaming the Lions game on him. Yeah, man, listen, let me tell you something. I love Ryan Clark for who he was as a Pittsburgh Steeler. But I don't always agree with the analysis of some of the ex-players. And I know that sounds funny, but you got to understand what I'm saying. Sometimes I think by default, the media side kicks in, right? I don't think Clark is wrong for saying what he's saying, but me personally, again, having, him being a football player, professional, a Steeler, I mean, you should know that, my opinion, I just don't think you know what a quarterback is in that amount of games. I just don't. Because we got to admit, there were some games that Rudolph played decent. Is he a great quarterback? No. But has Rudolph played okay? Yeah. And I think the media, particularly say a Ryan Clark and a Stephen A. Y'all know Stephen A. And I'm not even mad at Stephen A. because you got to get your money. I get it. You're a caricature. I get it. No disrespect to him, but I know the game. But I think they're looking at it from the wrong standpoint. Nobody is saying that he's going to be the franchise guy. He's not the Ben Roethlisberger replacement. He could just be the next starting quarterback for the Steelers for this season. That's it. Don't look at it past that. Don't look at it any further than that. I don't think anybody in this chat thinks that Mason Rudolph will be playing as a quarterback beyond 2022. Unless somehow he has a season where he's balling. But I'll end the show with this. This is how I'm viewing it. You don't have to view it the way I do. We all have our own opinions. That's why I don't trash any opinion. The Steelers are rebuilding, period. All that stuff we want to say about get a quarterback now and don't waste TJ's years and Minka, all of that stuff, honestly, is irrelevant because of where we are. We're not a Super Bowl winning team next year. Maybe not even 2 years. Even if you draft one of the 2023 kids, they're still rookies. We still have to see them be what we think they can be. So the way I look at it is this is just the way the cookie crumbles. You have to rebuild the team. You either got to do it from the inside out or you take a shot at a quarterback now. Just like Kevin Colbert pretty much admitted to the fact, if you really read into what he said, they took a shot with Kendrick Green. They took a shot in the dark and they didn't hit. So that's the situation we're in. You either build the team from the inside out, trenches, next level, secondary. Then you get yourself primed and ready to have a franchise quarterback come in, or hopefully you find one in the future years. Or you take a shot at one of these guys now and then you're still trying to build the team inside out. Again, let's watch free agency. But that's really where we are. Because every quarterback that you guys are saying we need to draft this year, y'all saying that as if they're going to do much better than Mason Rudolph. None of the guys in that draft, in my opinion, makes me think that, other than maybe a Kenny Pickett. Maybe. And I'll even say maybe a Malik Willis, because I think if we draft Willis, I think Canada finds a way to use his talent. But other than that, I don't think we're that much better of a team with any of those guys. These are just projections. Nothing is for sure. None of us know for sure. So I'm never going to speak in absolutes, but projection-wise, none of these dudes are necessarily going to be better than Rudolph. And if you know that, you're better off building a team up around him and go get your quarterback in the next draft or the next draft. I'm just saying. And then one of the guys who called, one of you all said, well, you know, if we're going to be middle of the road and we still won't be, it's the same difference. It's the same difference. You never know where the draft pick going to be. And that's why I said when we try to say we don't know what the plan is, dog, we're at a point now where the plan is to rebuild the team. That's it. There are not many other, unfortunately, there are not a lot of other options better than Rudolph. Because if there is, right, then we're going to be in the same situation again. Let's say another guy comes in and we win 9 more games. Boom, we're sitting at 20 again. Or what have you. See what I'm saying? So, I don't know, man. I don't know. I just feel like we need to accept it. Steelers are not the top of the food chain anymore, especially in the AFC North. And we're time to get ourselves back. Might take a couple years. And we'll see. We'll see. Maybe we make all the right moves in free agency, and maybe we make all the right moves in the draft. We will see. The time will tell. But outside of that, guys, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. Thank you. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel. When you are subscribed, cut on your notifications. And if you haven't already, if you like what you saw, hit the like button. It's very simple, right? But other than that, you'll more than likely see me again on Tuesday. If any real news breaks, I may do a special report here and there. So be on the lookout throughout the week. For you Madden heads, I will be bringing you another Madden game this week. Sorry, I've been way behind with that. But again, I went out of town this past weekend. I was in Tampa. Just haven't had the time to get that done. But I'll probably knock one of those out, this week. Bring you some more content there. And also, for you guys who are extended family members and have joined the channel, please, again, I implore you, send me some information as far as what type of things you would like to see. As far as private content, let me know. Whether it's gaming or something else. Since we don't have all 22 right now. Or maybe y'all want me to show you some old games. I don't know. Tell me what you would like to see, because I want to provide a service to you all. But outside of that, you guys know the routine. Stay safe. God bless. Good night. And like always, thank you for tuning in to Terrible Towel Tuesday. Catch you in the next one. Peace.